It was ninth grade honors English, supposed to be challenging, sure, but what I got wasn't challenge. It was personal warfare. From the moment I walked into her class, I knew this teacher didn't like me. And not in the you talk too much way some teachers do. No, this was visceral. She resented me. The only teacher I ever had who just flat out didn't like me as a person. Why? Because I was an athlete. I played 3 sports. I missed some classes for games and practices, just like the band kids missed for performances and the academic nerds missed for quiz bowls. But with her, missing class for sports was a crime. Academic competitions. She barely noticed. But the moment I showed up in a jersey, I could feel her eyes roll so hard they nearly left orbit. She'd double our homework after away games, only checking it on the days she knew would be too exhausted to finish. And somehow, she never checked homework on other days. 2. Passive aggression. Upgraded to active sabotage. But it wasn't just the assignments. She graded like she was out for blood. My papers came back with no red marks, no corrections, nothing, just a 72. Meanwhile, the kid next to me had red ink all over and still walked away with a 90. When I finally confronted her, she looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're doing 70% of your potential. That's why." So I asked, "Wait, my paper can be better than someone else's and still get 20 points lower?" She smiled and said, "Yes." The nerve. The arrogance. And the worst part. She recommended me for an advanced writing course a full year early. So she knew I was good. But still punished me, simply for not conforming to her version of effort. 3. The final betrayal, the extra credit that wasn't. Toward the end of the year, she dangled some extra credit. Attend a local college performance of Antigone, write a 2,500-word paper connecting it to class discussion, and turn in your ticket and playbill. Problem. The assignment was due Monday, and the play only ran Friday through Sunday. Even bigger problem. That Monday I had to miss school, excused absence, for an academic competition where I was literally representing the school. One of the biggest ones of the year. I told her a week in advance. 4 separate times. Each time, she said, turn it in first thing Tuesday morning. So I did everything right. I went to the play. Wrote the paper. Saved it Saturday. Competed Monday. And placed first and second in 2 categories. Then showed up at 7 a.m. Tuesday to turn it in. She looked me in the eye, and said I never said that. Refused to accept it. Gave me a 0. Her excuses. Another student turned it in Monday. Yeah, they lived across the street. I lived 20 minutes away and couldn't drive. Your mom's a teacher. She could have turned it in. Except I was told not to. Why would I do that? You could have written it Monday night, unfair to others. So I showed her the metadata, final save, Saturday. Didn't matter. She refused to budge. I wasn't just angry. I was shaking. My mom, who had bent over backwards that weekend to get me to the play, was livid too. But we both knew there was no winning with her. Not yet. The final exam that turned into final justice. She loved her final exam. 100 questions. And a bonus essay worth 5 points. She bragged. No one had ever gotten an A. It was her badge of pride. Her kingdom of petty power. I finished the exam in 20 minutes. Then I had 40 minutes left, alone with my thoughts and that bonus question. What was your favorite part of the class? What did you learn? Oh, she shouldn't have asked. I unloaded. I told her I hadn't learned anything, because she never gave me feedback. I said my favorite part of the class was it finally ending. I laid out everything, her bias, her punishment for athletes, her refusal to accept my paper, her unjust grading. Then I handed it in. First one out of 110 students. I walked out and waited for my mom in the breezeway. That's when she found me. Her eyes were red. Face trembling. Paper clutched in her hand. Come with me to the principal's office. 5. Her breakdown, my breakthrough. She stormed off. I followed. The soccer coach, sitting nearby, raised an eyebrow. I shrugged. She pulled my mom out of proctoring a final, and we sat in front of the principal. Her sobbing. Me silent. Then I spoke. Every detail. Every moment. I didn't even need to exaggerate. She'd written her own downfall. After 45 minutes, the principal finally turned to her and asked, "How much was this worth?" 5 points. He sighed. "Then don't give him the bonus." I scored a 98, 2 points off. The next highest was an 81. She thought she'd won. But a few days before grades were due, I checked my spreadsheet. An old assignment. Mysteriously 10 points lower. My final grade. 94.4, just short of an A on the scale back then. I knew she had altered it. Couldn't prove it. But karma doesn't wait for proof. 6. The real payoff. That summer, the school switched to a 10-point grading scale. My 94.4 instantly bumped up to an A. The following year, her assignments had to be approved weekly, and she was forced to accept emailed assignments. 2 years later, she was fired. Other students finally had the courage to speak up. And thanks to my paper, the administration no longer saw her as a tough teacher, but as a toxic one. I didn't plan to take her down. But justice has a way of finding those who deserve it. F. Climactic revenge payoff, 1 to 2 minutes. I never got to see her pack her things. But I like to imagine her sitting at her desk, realizing she'd built her reputation on cruelty, and that it had finally caught up with her. That her tears in the principal's office weren't the end, but the beginning of a slow unraveling. And as for me, I got my A. I got my validation. And I got to walk away knowing I never had to see her face again. G. Reflective wrap-up, 15 to 20 seconds. Some people hide their bitterness behind authority. But when you hold people down long enough, eventually, someone pushes back. And sometimes, justice comes not in loud explosions, but in quiet tears behind a closed office door. H. Outro call to action, 15 to 25 seconds. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button. And let me know in the comments, what's the worst teacher you ever had, and how would you have gotten your revenge? And of course, subscribe for more true stories where karma always catches up.